What's up, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about Halloween Ends. This is once again co-written and directed by David Gordon Green, as it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichak, James Jude Courtney, Will Patton, Rohan Campbell, and Kyle Richards, as the saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in the final installment of this trilogy. Now, I wish I stayed away from all the online speculations and the trailers because I've been just overworking my brain with what this movie was going to be in the last year. And I gotta say, now that we're here, this has got to be the most divisive Halloween movie amongst the entire franchise. Just like Jurassic World Dominion, this beloved franchise doesn't know how to properly execute their swan song. And this leads to two different movies in a head on collision that is both introduction and conclusion. And there's only two ways that this movie could be properly received is that one, you could be completely disappointed with how falsely advertised of a finale this was, or two, you could be open to the fact that they broke tradition and tried something different. This trilogy wasn't planned from the beginning, and it really shows. Originally, what was pitched to John Carpenter was that it was supposed to be a two-part movie taking place on the same night, but the studio was only going to finance and greenlight one movie. And boom, they were proven successful, the fans well received it, and they were able to do a back-to-back two-part movie, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, and then the pandemic happened. Rewrites had to happen. Now we have this whole 4-year jump, and this is just what we got. Although the marketing strongly shed light on the confrontation between Laurie and Michael, this story brings Corey Cunningham to the forefront. This character has a lot of screen time and has a pivotal arc that sets things in motion, outshining our two icons. With that being said, I can honestly say that I was invested with Rohan Campbell's performance and what his character had to contribute. And you don't agree with a lot of his actions, but you have a better understanding of his journey. Jamie Lee Curtis reprises her role as Laurie Strode for one last time, and this might possibly be the best version of her character. She ditches the Sarah Connor routine, and she puts in the effort to recover from her anger, her fear, and the pain. And I love the way that she was written this time around. I love the way that Curtis executes. This is the Laurie Strode that we were introduced to back in 1978, plus 40 years, plus 44 years for that matter. And you can see that she's festive, that she's humorous. She's actually pretty funny. She got a few good liners there. And you can still see that vulnerability, that she's trying so hard to pick up the pieces of her life and put them back together. This installment may have the lowest body count and carnage candy amongst the entire Gordon Green trilogy, and I think where they counteract that is them focusing more on the somber drama of the film, which I thought was more important. And we really get to spend time with our survivors, our characters who are broken and healing, and it really humanized the town of Haddonfield in a way which is a complete 180 turn from Halloween Kills. I am sad that they sidelined Kyle Richards, aka Lindsay Wallace, again. And especially with Will Patton. They both had 3 brief scenes, and I thought as survivors of the franchise, they would have had more involvement with this story. Otherwise, Andy Matichak as Allison, I thought she had a more emotional role to play in this one, especially with her connection with Corey. And what was up with all the rude new side characters in this movie? It's like they were all asking to get stabbed. James Jude Courtney as the Shape, aka Michael Myers. To me, he is literally the best rendition of Michael from this entire trilogy. Heck, for the entire franchise, in my opinion. But here, he felt very underutilized. And I get it, he's weak, he's gone away to rot. But the fear that he instilled in the last 2 movies are gone. Fuck, I thought the more that he kills, the more he transcends. What happened to that concept? There's even a scene towards the end of the second act that I felt like was just a complete disservice and a complete disrespect to Michael's well-being. I felt so bad for this old man. Speaking of the second act, the creative team made some risky decisions and swung for the fences for the direction that they wanted to take this one particular arc. It's not completely left field, but it is an element that has been briefly brought to light in the previous installments. But if I'm gonna be honest, if they really wanted to make that decision, wanted to make that one particular choice in storytelling, then they should have flushed it out. Because by the time we got to the third act, it amounted to nothing, and then they completely ditched that idea, and we are left with more questions than answers. And thank goodness that that scarecrow mask did not become a thing after 2 minutes. Like, you know what I'm talking about. No spoilers here. Now, the epic final showdown between Michael and Laurie was. It was okay. I thought it was rather short, kind of like the Batman versus Superman fight. Personally, I prefer the H2O and 2018's version of the final showdown between our characters just a hair more than this. The results were bloody. I actually reacted with a "oh shit" in my auditorium, and I turned around and I was trying to check if I disturbed anyone, but it turns out my girlfriend and I were the only ones watching this in theaters at the 7:55 show. I think everybody else was at home watching it on Peacock, because I think there was like another theater that had like one or three other people in the show before. Sad face, because this is the one particular showdown that I would have wanted to witness in a crowd. But nonetheless, I am genuinely satisfied that this movie, this finality, left no room and no possible chances of some kind of spin off or some kind of sequel like some franchises do. Overall, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. There are elements that worked for me, and elements that needed worked on, considering that they had the pandemic delays to make adjustments. Now, as a final chapter, I think it fails. I left wanting more from what they promised, and I didn't think that it was a proper farewell. As an addition to the franchise, I think this works as a Halloween themed movie, just like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And the message that Laurie and Loomis have been trying to express throughout this entire franchise is that evil can be contagious. Evil can change shape, even if that means Michael Myers isn't your centerfold. Alright guys, that's all I got to say about that movie. Go ahead and check it out at your nearest theater, or check it out on Peacock, because it's streaming there as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'm Jaren Ugbanawag. Look forward to more reviews, and I will see you guys at the movies. Take care.